Today, we're talking about a single day back in 2006 that basically threw all statistical probability out the window and, you could argue, redefined a sport forever. It's the story of a cricket match so wild, so legendary, that it's known simply as the 438 game.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The whole premise here sounds like something out of a movie. You've got one team that sets this world record, a score so massive, so far beyond anything anyone had ever seen that pretty much every expert and commentator just called it game over. The target was simply unchaseable.
And this was the number, 434. That's the score that the Australian cricket team, who were just seemingly invincible at the time, put on the board. To put that in perspective, no team in the history of one-day cricket had ever gotten close to that. The record books weren't just rewritten, they were completely torn up.
So to really get our heads around just how insane this was, we've got to look at the context. This wasn't just a high score, it was a score that shattered the very idea of what was possible in the game on that day, March 12, 2006.
You see, for decades, cricket scores were kind of creeping up. By the early 2000s, hitting 300 was the gold standard, a really good day at the office. But that 400-run barrier, it was mythical. It felt like science fiction. Sure, the game was changing. Bats were getting bigger, batting was more aggressive, but even with all that, 400 was just not something people thought could happen. So when Australia went and posted 434, it was like they jumped into a different dimension.
And here's the thing, this all went down in an absolute pressure cooker. This was not some meaningless friendly match. No. This was the final game of a 5-match series. It was tied 2-2. Winner takes all. I mean, the stakes just could not have been any higher.
Australia didn't just pile on the runs, they unleashed an absolute onslaught. Their captain, Ricky Ponting, was the main architect, and he played one of the greatest innings you'll ever see. A ridiculous 164 runs with 9 massive sixes. It was just a masterclass that left the South African team, and pretty much everyone watching, completely speechless.
So as the teams walked off for the break, everyone was thinking the same thing. This game is over. You could see it on the South African players' faces. They were crushed. The commentators were basically writing their eulogies on air. Chasing 435 wasn't just unlikely, it was seen as, well, a mathematical impossibility.
But then, in the face of these impossible odds, something started to shift. A little bit of defiance, a little bit of belief. That would spark maybe the most audacious counterattack in the history of cricket.
And yep, just like everybody predicted, the chase started with an absolute disaster. An early wicket falls, the score is a miserable 3-for-1. That impossible dream was like immediately turning into a very predictable nightmare. You could almost hear the entire stadium just let out a collective sigh.
But out of that disastrous start, 2 heroes suddenly emerged. First, the captain, Graeme Smith. He just played with pure guts, attacking the Australian bowlers like he had nothing to lose, basically saying, "We are not going down without a fight." And then there was Herschelle Gibbs, who played an innings that was just pure, unfiltered genius.
And this really gets to the heart of the mindset you need to chase the impossible. Gibbs played like he was on another planet. He smashed 21 fours, 7 sixes. He just attacked everyone with his breathtaking power. It was an inning so good, so free of any kind of pressure, that people described it as trance-like. He single-handedly gave South Africa a real shot.
But when Gibbs got out, the chase was far from over. It all fell on the rest of the team, and specifically on the wicketkeeper Mark Boucher, to try and guide them home. And the pressure, oh man, it just became unbearable. And it all came down to this. After almost 100 overs of cricket, after more than 800 runs were scored, we're down to the final over. 6 balls, 7 runs to win, and only 1 wicket left. The tension was just suffocating.
So the entire series, all of it, boiled down to these few deliveries. Ball 1, a single. Okay. Ball 2, another scrambled single. And then Boucher hits a boundary. The scores are tied. The whole stadium just explodes. And on the very next ball, he calmly knocks it for a single. It's over. They've done it.
438. South Africa had done the impossible. A new world record. They reached it with just 1 ball left. They won the match. They won the series. In the most unbelievable way you could possibly imagine. History made.
The party on the field was incredible, of course. But the shock waves from this one game would ripple across the sport for years, fundamentally changing how the game was played and even how people thought about it. I mean, just look at this to get the sheer scale of the achievement. The old record for a chase was 340. They didn't just nudge past it. They blew it out of the water by nearly 100 runs.
It was such a massive statistical jump that it forced everyone to completely rethink what was even possible. The record books just got completely torched in about 8 hours. Highest chase ever, highest total runs in a match ever. A mind-boggling 114 boundaries were hit. Even the unwanted records were broken, with one of Australia's bowlers, Mick Lewis, bowling the most expensive spell in history.
Just bonkers. But, beyond all the numbers, it was the psychological hit that was so huge. For Australia, that aura of being unbeatable, it was shattered. For South Africa, they forged this unshakable self-belief. And for the rest of the cricket world, the very definition of what a safe score was got erased forever. But this incredible, thrilling spectacle also started a debate. On the one hand, hey, this was amazing entertainment that pushed human skill to its limits. But on the other hand, it raised some pretty serious questions about the balance of the game. Was it becoming way too one-sided in favor of the batsman?
The 4-3-8 game will always be this legendary moment of pure defiance and incredible achievement. It proved no mountain is too high to climb. But it does leave us with this one nagging question. In creating one of the most perfect, thrilling moments in all of sports, did this match accidentally knock the delicate balance of cricket off its axis forever?